Welcome to the Rockabye Revenue Podcast with me, Abby Watson. I'm a mum of 4 and a business strategist, and I train people to become hypnobirthing teachers. In the last decade, I've built a thriving baby business that grew beyond my wildest dreams. This podcast is for you if you run a business or dream of running a business in the birth and baby industry. You want to change lives whilst making more money. I'm talking about creating sustainable income whilst being present for the people that matter most. I believe for our baby businesses to have the impact we desire, we must be rewarded. On this podcast, expect me to share actionable strategies without the jargon. I've been where you are. I've built a business while raising 4 little ones, and now I'm here to help you turn your passion into profit while creating the life you've always dreamed of. So let's get started. Hello, lovely one. How are you? Happy September. I don't know about you, but September brings all the New Year vibes to me, probably even more so than January, because let's face it, January with the very short days, the cold, the feeling of needing to hibernate sometimes doesn't bring all that freshness that we desire. But September, I don't know whether it's the conditioning from, being at school in the UK and September is the start of a new year. And then when I was a secondary school teacher, or whether it's just like being a mum with school-age children. Who knows? But I certainly have those New Year vibes, which is always good for business. And September can also come when you're a mum of school-age children with challenges, children settling back into school, lots of things to communicate, the mental load gets bigger. Like, as much as the school holidays are full on, I find that my mental load is a lot smaller when the kids are off school. When it comes to being back at school, the remembering things, the school runs, the knowing what they need to wear the next day and the things they're bringing home and need to bring, it's a lot. And that is really fitting to what we are talking about today. Now, whatever stage of business you are at, I can imagine you really need to hear what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about not making your business optional, not making the thing that you are so passionate about and the thing that you dream brings you lots of success and freedom in your life, not putting it at the bottom of your priorities, only focusing on it when the stars are aligned and suddenly you feel like you've got this fresh surge of energy and space in your diary. Now, I know this all too well. I absolutely used to tell myself that I could work on my business once I'd done the food shop, once I'd put a load of washing in, once I'd tied up any loose ends with communicating with school, etc., then I could focus on my business. And that often was also reliant on feeling super inspired or motivated. I knew that actually I worked best when I felt this surge of inspiration. So I'd feel like I had to do all those things and then wait for this magical motivation to hit me. And of course, 9 out of 10 times that wouldn't happen, because actually I was so exhausted after doing the food shop, popping it in the cupboards, doing all the emails that often took me longer than I imagined, that actually I had nothing left for my business, and therefore shelved the idea of working on it. Now, I definitely got better at that, and certainly things that helped me was taking myself away from the house if I was going to work on my business. So that's why I'm a bit of a fan of working in Starbucks. I know that like if I drive to Starbucks and spend a solo couple of hours, the amount of work I can get done is huge compared to being at home with all those distractions. Because I'm sorry, I'll admit it here, even though I do make my business a priority, I just can't work if there's a pile of washing up sat there. It like burns me inside to know it is sat there, knowing I'm like ignoring it. I can't do it. My husband can do that. I cannot. And you know, as much as I try, I can't do it. Okay. So I've definitely got better at making my business a priority and not feeling like I had to do all those kind of like homemaking things first. However, I know I'm also guilty, and you know, maybe this might resonate with you, of like planning a really productive day in my business and then something happening in life and being like, oh my gosh, there's no way I can focus on my business now. So that might be like having a really terrible school run, you know, and I've had many, you know, and if you have listened to this podcast before or followed me on social media, you probably know that the last couple of years dropping my son off at school has been a really traumatic experience. So having a difficult drop off, then I'm like, oh my gosh, I have got nothing for my business. I'll do those things tomorrow. So can you see what I'm talking about here? Like putting your business at the bottom of your priorities and treating it like it's optional. And I know that so many of you that listen to this podcast are women and are often mothers and are balancing lots of things. And as a result, we can feel like actually our work is optional. Now, the glorious thing about running a baby business is that it is super flexible. It is, and it's why I went and did it, and it's why I blooming love running a business, and I would never go back into employment. The flexibility that it gives me around my busy family is incredible. The downside, you know, the downside is that flexibility can sometimes lead us to prioritise other things that are actually sometimes not more important. Like the laundry can be done anytime. And it can be done by other people that live in the house, you know? It shouldn't take priority over my business, you know, should it? But it's very easy to fall into that mode of feeling like, okay, I'll have the capacity for my business once I've done these little things that end up being really, really time consuming and take the energy and focus away from the business. Now, if you resonate with any of those things and you do feel like there's so many times in your life where you intend to do things on your business, but actually you then end up prioritizing other things, you absolutely need to hear what I'm saying next. You know, and I share the stories of me so that you know that as much as I give this advice, we're all a work in progress, you know? We haven't all got it together. And maybe me, as much as you, need to hear what I'm going to say next. Now, if you need your business to earn money, if you need it to be that thing that is going to help you leave your day job or pay for incredible things in your life or give you more time to spend with your children, you absolutely cannot make it the bottom of your priority, and you cannot treat it like a hobby, an optional thing if you've got time. You know, let's face it, if this was employed work, you couldn't be like to your employer, oh, I'll do that job when I've put 2 loads of washing in, could you? Or you couldn't be like, oh, I'm not coming in, I've had a really bad school run. You just couldn't. And we've got to treat our business the same way. Now, that's not to say you don't allow yourself the flexibility, because, of course, running a business allows that. So I'm not saying that you prioritise your business over your children. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, don't blooming make excuses. Call yourself out when you feel like, actually, I'm putting this off. I am making things that are not as important more important. And importantly, I'm blooming waiting for this golden moment of motivation. Let me tell you something that I absolutely know to be true. And I know this to be true because it is true for me, and it is true for so many business owners that I've supported. Motivation often comes from doing, 9 times out of 10, it's the motivation that comes from getting started, You get your laptop out, you start creating some social media content, or you start planning your course, and actually then you feel fired up. It's not the other way around. It's not that you sat there like, making tea and then you're like, oh, I feel so inspired to create some social media content. It's often the other way around. So please don't rely on that inspired moment. Also, we absolutely must have boundaries around our work, however hard it feels. So here I am sat recording my podcast, and I can tell you what, I've got other things that I need to be doing in my life, but I can do them later, I've got phone calls that I need to make. I've got things that are calling me to be done, but they can wait, because actually my business is totally worthy of my time, and yours is too. And as I sit here today recording this podcast, my phone is on aeroplane mode. And I will keep that phone on aeroplane mode, not just for recording this podcast, but when I go on and create some marketing emails for this podcast, when I go on and, answer messages and things like that, I'll leave my phone on aeroplane mode, because I know that I may get a phone call. And I know that if I do get a phone call, actually I'll feel so impacted by that phone call that actually it will impact my ability to get my work done. And you know what? If I get a phone call, they can leave a message and I can return the call knowing I've done a solid few hours of work and I have absolutely made progress, and I have this feeling of accomplishment. Quick pause before we get back in to tell you that if you are currently thinking about becoming a hypnobirthing teacher, I have the opportunity for you. Starting on the 22nd of September, I'm going to be running a free training called Could You Be a Hypnobirthing Teacher, where you'll get the opportunity to learn in-demand skills to give you a strong foundation ready if you decide to take the plunge to be a hypnobirthing teacher. And guess what? It's completely free. It's over 3 days for an hour each day, all online. And don't worry, if you miss it, you'll be sent the recording. So sign up. The link is in the show notes, and I can't wait to see you there. If we feel frustrated that our businesses are not going in the direction that we want them to, we've got to be honest with ourselves. We've got to be honest and think, well, have I been doing what I need to do? Have I been taking action? Or have I actually been making everything else a priority over the business? I'll repeat it again. My business is worthy of my time. Your business is worthy of your time. And maybe you blooming need this on, a post-it note that you stick on your bathroom mirror, My business is worthy of my time. As that reminder, it absolutely is. And remembering that your business is about the wider family too, you know? You are not choosing your business over your family. You are choosing your business for your family. Like, if there hadn't have been times that I prioritised my business, my family wouldn't be in the setup that it is right now, you know? With me being able to be home with my son while he's out of school, with me being able to attend assemblies and, you know, things that your kids want you there for. If I hadn't have prioritised my business, even when it felt hard, I'd have had to have a regular job where I wouldn't have had this flexibility. So whilst I haven't always been perfect, I have made changes to make those things a priority. And that's what I want you to do too. You know, remember that your business and the success of your business and the impact of your business absolutely impacts positively the wider family. So you are not choosing your business over them. Actually, they are a big part of why you do what you do, you know? Why you dream of big things in your business. And they absolutely need you to make your business a priority and treat it as this serious thing. And I tell you what I have certainly learned over the last decade. No one in your life will take your business seriously unless you do, you know? If you talk about your business as, oh, my little business, and if you're like, oh, don't worry, I'll cancel my thing so you can do your thing, they'll also see your business as not a big deal. But when you start to have those boundaries over your business and you start to talk about it like the big deal it is, they will too. So don't wait until suddenly everybody's like, oh, darling, when do you need to work on your business? Because I'll make sure you have that time. You know, you have to take it seriously first. And that's absolutely been my experience. And yeah, today, my husband, my family do take my business seriously. But that didn't happen by accident. I had to take it seriously first. So I really hope that you have got something out of this episode today. And I really hope it's made you think about the times when you are shelving your business, when actually perhaps it's other things that you need to shelve. I hope it's made you think about boundaries that you can have around your business, and perhaps even where you need to create new routines to ensure that you are getting that headspace for your business. And really importantly, I want you to remember that we don't all feel super motivated to work on our businesses all the time. But actually, when we sit down and we start, often that's where the motivation and the inspiration comes from. So take this moment now to think about how you can make your business a priority and how making it that priority doesn't just impact you, it impacts the people around you, from your family to the incredible families you support. There are people that need to work with you, and unless you are taking your business seriously, they're not going to blooming hear about the wonderful stuff you do. And they are not going to benefit from the incredible transformations that you bring. So it's absolutely not selfish making your business a priority. Maybe it's even selfish not, you know? So I really hope you have found this episode useful. And as always, if you know anybody that would benefit from them, pop it in a WhatsApp message and send it over to them, because you might just do them a big favour. Have a glorious week, and I shall speak to you next time. Take care. Bye. Thank you for listening to Rockabye Revenue. I hope this episode has left you with some fresh ideas and bundles of motivation. If you enjoyed this episode, do make sure you click subscribe so you never miss an installment. And if you found this episode useful, I'd love you forever if you leave a 5-star review, helping this podcast reach the ears of more of the helpers in this world. And remember, keep changing lives. See you next time.